Welcome back to Fold in the Cheese. It's your boy K-Troll on the mic today, and we are previewing Conference Championship Weekend. We are there, Final Four in the NFL, and I am joined today, very special episode. We're going to start doing football episodes, football movies, joined by the Clifford Franklin to my Shane Falco.
I thought I had it, and then the ball.
Hey, shut up! Give me the stick.
I don't think it will work. Coach, ain't that stuff illegal?
What are they gonna do? Put you in football jail?
Now, you know this don't look natural. Now, you know it don't.
Don't talk. We're gonna run the same play. Do you hear me? You're gonna catch the ball.
Coach, I look like I just jacked off an elephant.
Hey!
Ethan Gelfand, what's happening?
These hands.
That stick him on your hands.
It's these hands.
Get some stick. Try to spike the ball. It's stuck to your hand.
Not much, man. First of all, I feel like, yes, I'm excited we're doing football movies as we inch ever closer to the Super Bowl. But I feel we have done a disrespect to our namesake. We haven't done Schitt's Creek yet this season. I know we did it last season. We kind of waited for the rollout, but we haven't done it. Ironically, so I can't remember. Were you a Walking Dead fan? Yes, you were.
Yeah.
But you didn't finish it. Neither did I.
I think it's still going. I don't know.
Yeah. We all dropped off at some point. So I dropped off like season 7, 8, like when it was right before Carl got bit, ironically. So
yeah, same here.
So anyway, we started watching. I don't know if you have HBO or steal it because we mooch off someone else. HBO Max, but the show The Last of Us. Have you heard of this show? Or
I've not. We do have HBO. We get it with our AT&T plan.
Fancy. Look at you with your gold-plated toilets and your HBO.
Anyone who's an AT&T phone user gets HBO Max for free.
Woo!
Woo!
Look at me!
I'm on Cricket Wireless. Never mind.
Hey, that has some great deals. But anyway, so there's a show called The Last of Us. First of all, has Game of Thrones alumni Pedro Pascal and what's her name? It's Bella Ramsey, who was Lyanna Mormont. Remember, like the young queen who was the best and so sassy and was awesome. You remember?
Sort of. I'd know if I saw her.
What? She was.
Oh, you mean the one that was a representative from her kingdom?
Yeah,
she was the queen. Yes, okay, I know her. Yes,
yeah.
I was thinking of like in the lineage. I was like, did they flashback? Because we're watching the freaking. We just finished watching the new one, and we're like,
the dragon,
so many flashbacks and flash forwards and stuff. We're just like, what's happening?
Yeah, no. In the original Game of Thrones, she was the queen. She was young.
She was like 10. Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome. She was the best. So she's actually one of the protagonists in the show. Anyway, so it's a zombie-ish show, but it's actually, you're going to laugh at me. It seems very realistic as to why it would happen.
Well, after COVID, everything seems realistic.
But it's super creepy and weird because it's mainly, it's like a fungus that, have you ever heard of zombie ants?
Yeah, I don't remember how or why, but I have heard that before.
So zombie ants are ants that have essentially been taken over by a fungus, and it kind of controls their brain patterns, and they can't control what they do. The fungus is kind of telling them what to do. So it's basically where this fungus is called cordyceps, or I'm not saying it right. It's something that truly exists in our world, but it's not possible for a human to be infected because it can't sustain our body temperature, because our body temperature is 98.6 degrees. It cannot survive in that. But what it's saying is in this, it's actually based on a video game. This is a very long intro to the reason why I'm talking about Schitt's Creek. Anyway, great show. Zombie-ish, very cool, very good. 2 episodes in. But the reason I say this is so Kirsten, when we were watching it after it, they're very intense, as our most darkish zombie kind of era shows.
As one does, sure.
So very intense. So after we finished watching the first episode, like, ooh, that was heavy. Can we watch something light real quick? I'm like, yeah, sure. We threw on an episode of Schitt's Creek. Lighten up the mood right away. And it just brought me back to how good of a show that was. Like, just the little intricacies of it. And again, David's reactions and just mannerisms and how he taught, like, love it.
David is an all-timer character. Moira
Seriously.
turned out to be my favorite in the end. She was just spitting fire all the time. Alexis had incredible. I mean, the interactions were incredible. Yeah. It really was lightning in a bottle. It really was fantastic.
David was my favorite from start to end. Just again, it's just his inflections and reactions were just that did it for me.
Obviously, he was fantastic.
They were all a great cast. There were really no duds in that show, which is pretty unheard of. So anyway.
The vernacular, it was the vocabulary and the way they had Moira, the things that she would say were just
baby. The baby.
The bebe. Yeah, she was just a ridiculous person, and I think
Oh, absurd.
I just imagine she had so much fun doing that. But David was just phenomenal, phenomenal character. Yes, sarcastic and witty and funny and lovable, and I don't know,
All at the
just
same time.
really good, really good.
Yes. So we do have to go back to that at some point this season. The season's whittling down, and I know we're doing football now, football movies, just to kind of as to get us geared up for the Super Bowl. But maybe just post Super Bowl, we need something light since we're depressed now that football season's over. So we'll
True.
go back.
True. I will say we've started. So we're in the same boat where like we'll watch something really intense. Like we're watching Yellowstone, the newest season of Yellowstone right now, and it's like you get done with one of those, and you're just like, I'm exhausted, you know. And so sometimes it's like, and we also maybe have like a little bit more time left before we really want to crash. And so we've started jumping back into The Good Place, which I know you're a big fan of.
Love The
back
Good
into
Place.
that to get us because we've run out of these like quick hitting 20-minute comedies, you know, and like we got into that one that you told me about that was that had Damon Wayans Jr. and Alicia Cuthbert and
Happy Endings.
Happy Endings. We got into that because it was perfect. It was like funny,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of like
Fun, light
banter, easy to watch, just one of them here and there. We got into that, and then they like took it off of Netflix. So
yeah,
we never got to finish that. But The Good Place is still on there. We're gonna
Good Place just
every now and then see what happens.
One of those shows that literally just got better. And which usually like, okay, like it'll get up and then it'll kind of tail. No, it just kept going up. And it ended perfectly. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how they did it. It was really good.
Well, that's good. Good to know.
And gets so much Jaguars love in that show.
I'm excited to hear all the Blake Bortles stuff. I haven't gotten to that yet. Bortles. Kristen Bell is fantastic though. I do love her.
Yeah, she's good too. And Chidi, I really like Chidi. And Ted Danson, he's just a great character.
Ted Danson's great. Yep. All very good. All right, so we've got some game previews to get to this week. We're going to go through our new NFL.com playoff challenge lineups, and then we've got some trivia for you in the hot seat for the replacements. We didn't mention that earlier. The replacement, Shane Falco, is Keanu Reeves from The Replacements.
Damn, I was hoping that was going to be one of your trivia questions.
What movie is Shane Falco in?
Shane Falco.
And then you have come up with a special segment for us at the end that I will not spoil the name of just yet.
Do not.
All right, so we've got the first game up this Sunday, 49ers at Philly, taking on the Eagles. Let's dissect.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best case scenario for the NFC. It's literally the two best teams that they've been all year. Well, the 49ers maybe started a little bit slow, but then obviously once the McCaffrey trade happened and all that, they just steamrolled not steamrolled, but they carried on and basically showed they are tops in the conference, if not one or two. So it's great. Eagles obviously had the unbelievable start, kind of tailed off a tiny bit towards the end. Jalen Hurts got banged up. He's still playing a little bit of hurt. Brock Purdy's magic is still going. This is a wild game. It's in Philly. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. Just at this point in the season, it's kind of like, you know what? We've battled through everything.
True.
So I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of it. It's just because the Eagles just kind of steamrolled the Giants. They definitely had the easier road. Obviously, they had the bye, and then they got the Giants who really outkicked their coverage this season anyway. So easily handled the Giants. So not a true test. 49ers had to play a scrappy Seahawks team who they fought in the first half, and then they kind of put them away in the second, and then face a tough Dallas defense, man, who, if they don't have a couple of those miscues on offense, it could have easily gone the other way. So the 49ers are definitely battle tested, where the Eagles, they're not yet. They steamrolled the Giants. They look great, but it was also the Giants. So does that take away from their resume a little bit? I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. I think the 49ers offense will come alive a little bit more. The Dallas defense was probably one of the more underrated this season. I feel like their defense flew under the radar for the most part. I know they kind of towards the end got some higher accolades, but I feel like the Cowboys defense was probably the toughest one they've faced this season. To come out ahead, granted it wasn't pretty, but they found a way to win. And I think
it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Well done. It wasn't pretty, but they're finding ways to win. So honestly, I kind of am leaning towards the Niners just because of how scrappy and just how much of a team effort they are, and that defense is absurd. Don't get me wrong, the Eagles defense is good too, but I'm leaning Niners. Leaning.
So I agree with pretty much everything you said. The Cowboys defense was highly regarded last year. Everyone was talking about them, and it's the same defense, and they were every bit as good this year, but they didn't get quite as much love for whatever
Right.
reason. They've got those playmakers. I mean, Trayvon Diggs last year had more interceptions than Stephon had touchdowns or something crazy. Where you're just like
Yeah. Well, he
unbelievable.
had the first 7 games of the year, he had a pick, didn't he? Wasn't that
I think it
something
was
the
every
craziest
game
stat?
for at least the first 6, maybe 7. Yeah, I mean, it was
Yeah.
insane what he was doing. So it's one of the reasons they were getting so many
Right.
accolades last year. So that defense is really good. The Philly defense earlier this year, people have not been talking about them recently, but earlier this year, that defense was the best in the league.
Yeah, it was.
Full stop. That was it. And so the Niners are starting to get all this love now. Don't forget the Eagles had an incredible defense. Don't forget
Mhm.
Darius Slay basically shut down Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the league right now. So don't forget all of that. They've got playmakers on defense as well. Their defensive line has been good for years. To your point about, hey, it's in Philly, does that matter? Probably not to most of the people on the field because these guys are pros and like you're used to playing in hostile environments. But
Right.
it is an edge. It's a slight edge. In years past, I would have said that's actually a not good for Philly because their fans will boo them or throw beer at them.
Throw
But this
batteries.
year, they're not getting all that hate. I feel like it is an advantage for them. Philly crowds are pretty wild.
And to the point you've made all year, coast to coast change, man. They got to
That's
go
true.
across the country.
San
They got
Fran's screwed. They got to fly across country to play this
to
game.
go across the country, man. It's over. Okay, Eagles done.
Listen, it will impact the recovery, their schedule and all that a little bit. But again, at this point, you're the cream of the crop, so you
Yeah.
can't be deterred by that kind of thing. But it does matter a little bit. Yes, the Giants game was more of a tune-up than anything else, but I think the Seahawks and Giants are about the same. I don't
Hmm.
think I don't think that Seahawks are like, oh, the 49ers survived a pesky Seahawks. I'm like, they're no more pesky than the Giants are, in my opinion.
I
I think
think
they're
the
pretty much the same, and
difference.
they're both divisional foes. So
Yeah,
like the
true.
the Eagles did what you should do, which is just bury your divisional opponent and don't even give them any hope because you hate them. The Niners
You hate them.
duked it out and barely got the win. So I'm not
Dang,
overly impressed by
barely.
that.
It's like 41-24, 21-18. Anyway, the thing that was just a little different to me about the Seahawks, and it's probably on the flip. So Seahawks offense was definitely deadlier than the Giants offense. When you got a DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker, improved player of the year nominee, Geno Smith. I mean,
Sure.
their offense was
Their
pretty good.
defense is putrid.
And their defense was okay. Whereas on the flip, the Giants defense probably carried them a little bit, but you still had the playmakers like Saquon to help them on offense. So anyway, I see what you're saying about the Giants Seahawks. I would still give the Seahawks a slight bump over the Giants, just mainly because of the offensive talent. But
Okay.
I see what you're saying about. That's a good point. They're both division foes. This will be the third time they play each of them.
Don't forget Seahawks, as you pointed out, Seahawks were up 17-16 at halftime in that Niners game.
Yeah.
So it took the fourth quarter to put them away.
True. And they did put them away. Woo.
They did. They sure did.
So who are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning Eagles. I'm leaning
Eagles.
Eagles. I think that for me, I think we talked about this, and I kind of rewatched some of our analysis from last week. We talked about how Jalen's going to come out and have a chip on his shoulder, which is I know is punny because his shoulder is the injury. He's got a chip on his shoulder because he wants to prove like, hey, I'm healthy enough to win. I'm healthy enough, and I don't want this to be an excuse. And he doesn't want excuses. He doesn't want an asterisk. He just wants to go out and win. And he has to reclaim, like, for some reason, people have fallen off of the Eagles, us included.
Oh, yeah.
Have fallen off of the Eagles a little bit because of their late season stumbles. And I think they're out there to say, hey, we're still that team that went 13-1 to start the season. We're still that team that was crushing everybody until that injury. And he's had now, 4 or 5 weeks to try and fully recover from it. He may not be 100% fully recovered. I know he played 1 game and a half of a game kind of in between there. But I think when you're in this scenario, when you're in this situation, this is where you put it all on the line. This is where you see Mahomes being like, I don't care if my leg is falling off. I'm going to play. Jalen Hurts is going to be the same way. I don't care what my shoulder is doing. This is the NFC Championship game. I will be going, and I will be 100. I'm going to go. And so I think that I think the teams are very evenly matched. They have a lot of the same characteristics. They have a lot of the same types of playmakers. A.J. Brown and Debo are kind of clones. They don't run A.J. like the Niners run Debo, but they're very similar build. They're just
Big
huge
guys,
physical receivers. They've got speedsters in Ayuk, and then you've got Devontae Smith on the Eagle side. So, I mean, you've got like smaller but burner types as well. McCaffrey's better than Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders has had an incredible year.
He did.
And so I don't know. I think the defenses, they both have playmakers too, obviously. But I'm just starting. I've just more recently I've just started to feel like Philly's going to get it done. They're going to get it done. So
All right.
I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and this doesn't really help in terms of analysis, there's no wrong answer because obviously once you get this far into the playoffs, into a championship game, there's a reason why both of these teams are here.
Yep.
They've both shown their mettle, they've both shown what they can do, and they've earned their spot. There's no kind of holy crap, how did this team get here? Kind of like the Bengals were last year, like, oh like where the hell did they come from?
True.
These are Bengals, Bills, you could give a toss up, and honestly, the Bengals proved why they are the better team. So of these final four, these are literally the best four teams in the NFL, which is awesome that you see this and they're going to be great games. At least I hope they are. And yeah, honestly, with the 49ers and Eagles, for me, it's a coin flip. And I don't know, maybe this is just my bias. As I said, the Niners are kind of my second team behind the Patriots. So I'm hoping they do it.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if I want to see like a 49ers Chiefs. I want to see a 49ers Bengals. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
That would be cool. There's a lot of good storylines there, but if this game could go either way, don't get me wrong. I'm not like 100% confident in the Eagles. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now, and I think I have more confidence in Jalen Hurts than Dak Prescott, and than Brock Purdy, honestly. Right. So yeah, I know it's been an incredible story with Purdy. Yeah. I still keep feeling like the other shoe's got to drop at some point, and he faced a tough defense last week. He did just enough to get by, but he was not the reason they won that game. Right. I think you're going to have to do a little bit more even this week. And I don't think Jalen's going to throw 2 picks like Dak did. I think Jalen is this year. Jalen is like a totally different player. Like he's just I see so much more confidence in him.
Sure. And the big thing about Jalen Hurts is that he doesn't really turn the ball over that much. I mean, it's really hard pressed for him to do so. Even in college, that was one of his highest praises, is that he maybe had with 2 interceptions on the year, or if that. So he knows how to take care of the ball. So when you talked about a Dak Prescott, who is a little more prone to turnovers, yes, obviously Jalen Hurts is the much bigger weapon and more reliable in that sense. So yeah, the one thing that worries me is the quarterback position, because obviously in one of the most important positions, you got a proven stud who's up for an MVP versus Mr. Irrelevant coming off an 8-game hot streak. And yikes, yikes, you do get nervous, but I mean, he's shown he can play in these big games. He's done enough, and hopefully it's enough to get it done. So that it does give me slight pause for concern, but I'm hoping the Niners can pull it off.
This is a situation where you've seen a defense carry a team to a championship, and that can happen for sure. Yeah.
Joe Flacco, Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson,
Jim McMahon.
These quarterbacks have won.
Go back to the '85 Bears, like Jim McMahon. I think that the difference for me is these defenses are pretty similar. Maybe the Niners are a better defense. I guess if I'm granting them that's fine. But the impediments in the way to get that championship, you're talking about teams that have equally good defenses, but they also have a good offense. Like they also have a quarterback that you can trust and you count on. And that's the one thing where it's like the defense can't carry Brock Purdy to this championship. He's gonna have to. He's gonna have to make the plays, and he has done that. To his credit, he has done that in a lot of these games. But in this game in particular, he's gonna have to make those plays more than Jalen Hurts, and I don't personally think that's gonna happen.
Okay, so here, right today, if you are the San Francisco 49ers, do you make a call on your quarterback for next season? Right now.
I've already made that call.
Brock Purdy is our guy.
I've already made that call if I'm the 49ers.
And Brock Purdy is your guy.
No-brainer. Brock Purdy is your guy.
Okay.
I think.
Wow.
I think I've seen enough from him. If I'm a 49ers coaching staff, fan, whatever.
If you are John Lynch, the GM of this team.
Yeah, or Kyle Shanahan, I'm saying, have you seen the 8-9 game win streak? Have you seen him winning in the playoffs? Like, that'll do. You would love to have a player in their first year be your star quarterback going forward. And we've seen this system allows you to kind of interchange guys as long as they're competent.
Clearly.
Like Jimmy Garoppolo is not a superstar, but he's competent. He's a good quarterback. He's not great, but he's good. Plug him in there. Fine. If it was Trey Lance, whatever, he could stay healthy. We may not ever know, but I'm sure he would have been good enough to do well for this team. This team does not need a stud quarterback to go far. Right. I think again, as long as there are other teams that have good defenses, they're going to need a star quarterback to win it all. That's the one thing. And so Jimmy can get him to the Super Bowl, but couldn't win. Like Kaepernick could get him to the Super Bowl, but couldn't win. Like they're going to need someone over the top. And I don't know if Purdy's that guy, but I don't think Garoppolo is, and I don't know that Trey Lance is either. So I'm kind of like, yeah, take your shot. We've seen this with other. I remember when Seahawks were really good, it was usually started out with Russell being on his rookie deal still, and that became like a trend. Was like get a young quarterback so you don't have all that money spent on him, and then build up your defense and other weapons.
Yeah,
and so Purdy allows them the most flexibility for sure.
Speaking of, this is a tangent, but speaking of cookies, quarterbacks on their rookie deal. Did you hear the Bills GM basically kind of lashing out, taking shots at the Bengals?
No.
So he was basically saying like, yeah, we didn't want to suck enough where we could go get a Jamar Chase and, still have our quarterback on his rookie deal. Like, dude, first of all, you did suck for so long. Like, yes, you've had the past 3 years, you've been good. And don't go higher than thou saying like, oh, see, we would never tank or never.
We weren't willing to throw it all away to restart
to get a top 5 pick. Like, dude, stop being a sore loser. He's just nervous because he knows his window is it's very close to being closed. Just because Josh Allen's going to get a big bump, Stephon Diggs is not happy. They're going to keep him around. So yeah, their window is getting very tight.
That was not smart.
No. All right. So Eagles, Niners, yikes. Going to be a matchup.
That's going to be a good one.
Here comes the other one. 2 other heavyweights, Bengals, Chiefs at Arrowhead. What we thinking here?
I know, man. Gosh, I keep being surprised the Chiefs are just getting it done. I just think that's a testament to why Mahomes should be the MVP. It's just like, I don't think this team should be winning. I don't think the talent on this roster is good enough for them to be in the AFC Championship right now. And I mean, I know they had a bye the first round, and they play the Jags, who were an upstart, pesky team, but not as stiff a competition as this. But like, it's still surprising they went 14-3 in the first place. It's surprising that I know the AFC West turned out to be garbage when we thought it was going to be great. So chalk up 6 of the wins or however many they won in that division. Like, okay, fine. But I don't know, man. I'm still surprised. And they make it look easy too. It's not even that they're like gunning out wins. Like, Mahomes is freaking magic out there.
Although, do you remember who one of their losses is to?
Was it the Patriots?
The Colts.
Oh, the Colts. That's right. Oh, that's right. I was at the Titans game and I saw that. And I was like, what?
What?
Yes. That's right. So like, I don't know how it's happening, but it is, and it's foolish to go against it.
Right.
I'm just like, I keep feeling like, okay, well, now you're playing like the Bengals in the playoffs right now. I got to go with the Bengals, but I feel dumb saying that because I'm like, the Chiefs have every shot to win this game. Just like, I don't know why everyone would pile on the Bengals, but I feel like we're all going to pile on the Bengals,
I mean, it's once again, it's that kind of Bengals playoff magic. And it's just like, wow, I guess these guys are legit and are, to be reckoned with. To your point, I kind of equate this Chiefs team, and don't just tell me hold on. I'm just going to pause for a second. Kemper, you talk while
let me go ahead and finish your thought. I kind of equate this Chiefs team to one of the old Patriots teams where there weren't that many weapons, but Brady was magic, and he was getting it done. He had a great tight end and Rob Gronkowski, just like Travis Kelce, and the coaching was great, and the defense got hot at the right time, and no one thought they had a shot, and all of a sudden they won 6 Super Bowls. Isn't it magical? Okay, you can.
I mean, you're pretty close. Yeah. So, yes, honestly, like you think back to some of these Patriot teams where, they didn't have the big names on offense. He's throwing to like Rashae Caldwell. He's throwing to who was the guy from Denver that we got? Brandon Lloyd.
Like, you can't even remember these guys. I mean, that's saying something.
And but it's again, and it's Mahomes. So if you look at it, did they have a 1,000-yard receiver besides Travis Kelce? I guess he is kind of a receiver, but Juju was probably the highest with 800, and then it just kind of drops off way down from there. So so he got it done with these not big name guys. So I do equate it to those kind of late 2000 Patriot teams because it was the same kind of deal. You have a dynamic quarterback, best in the league, and you have a good but not great defense. Because in the Patriots in those days, like their defense was solid. It was always middle of the road, bend, don't break. And I kind of equate that's the same thing here. It's a bend, don't break, just get it done, make it happen. So, for me, and after I say all this, I am going with the Bengals because
I'm picking against history and all of my analytics.
The
Bengals are the Colts, Ethan. Do you understand this? The Bengals are the Peyton Manning Colts that the Patriots continuously beat.
But not only except for in a couple times in the AFC Championship game when Bill Belichick decided to go for it on 4th down from their own 30 when they could have just run the. Anyway, we won't bring that one back up.
Never allowed
they
to
were up
complain.
by 2, and they decided to. So,
You
yes,
cannot complain. Period.
I cannot. You're right. I will, but I can't. But for me, the Bengals, their defense is holding. They held the Bills at home in the elements, which is the Bills' forte, to 10 points. They held them to I think what's the streak that the Bengals haven't allowed a first quarter touchdown in I can't remember how many straight games. And I don't know. There's just something about them. And there's just something about Joe Burrow that does not get flapped. He's just the calmest, the most confident, but not cocky I've ever seen in a long time. Like what flaps?
Just say it. I mean, since Montana, he reminds people of Montana. He really does.
But it's even more that I guess again we weren't in the time of Montana, so I don't know how cocky / confident Montana was. Whereas Burrow brings that era of that.
He's got swagger. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so I don't know, man. And I know the Bengals are riding a 3-game winning streak against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have that pasted on the bulletin board and all that. The Chiefs are going to come fired up. I mean, I know Mahomes says he's healthy, but I'm just worried a little bit about that ankle. Just if it's hindered a little bit, how much does that change his ability? They were showing in the second half of the Jags game, he's throwing it and he's kind of, holding his one foot up in the air a little bit, not doing the full follow through and, the full planting of that foot. I don't know.
He practices that every practice anyway.
That's true. That's just how he throws the ball. He'll throw it falling down. But I don't know.
My arms are as strong as my top arms.
Dude, that was a perfect reenactment of Gridiron Heights, Patrick Mahomes. I loved it. Do it again. That was spectacular.
My leg arms are as strong as my top arms.
Again, for our listeners, please go check out Gridiron Heights, and especially do the ones with Patrick Mahomes. It's spectacular. So I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I'm going Bengals here just because they just seem like that team, and I want to see him back in the Super Bowl. I want to see Burrow back there. I do.
I do too. When I said it, I started to believe it even more, though. I feel like this does remind one of the Patriots and the Colts. I mean, it really does. Like you've got objectively better playmakers, especially on offense, on the Bengals, and yet there's this one dude on the other side that's just like, it don't matter who he's throwing to, he's getting it done.
Right.
And the crazy, like I feel like the comparisons get way overblown and they're way overused these days. But it's hard to not see the similarities here between a classic, Brady Manning rivalry.
Yeah. And so I think unfairly that everyone was saying it was Mahomes Allen, especially after the epic playoff game they had last year. But honestly, if we look at it 20 years from now, it's probably going to be Mahomes Burrow, just because this dude is cold. And again, he's going to have his core for so long. They can keep them all under contract. My gosh. So yeah, I'm going Bengals with you, man. I'm going.
All right. These are going to be 2 epic championship week games. I'm excited for it. I'm stoked. Let's get to our NFL.com playoff challenge. You've got to update most of your roster at this point.
Yes.
We got to see who we went with, because I'm still on the fence. And
really,
I know it sounds waffly of me. I will make a decision on this show, but
live on the air. I like it. I kind of teased it last episode where, I had to replace Josh Allen, James Cook, whatever. Basically, I just played no one there. Stephon Diggs and Tyler Bass. So obviously the Bills will have. So I'm sticking with what I talked about on Tuesday, that I'm going to go heavy with the Niners just because I already have Jamar Chase and Kelsey in there from the AFC. So I figured if I got to not hedge my bets, I got to go for it because I know people have Burrow. Nick already has Burrow. You already got Mahomes. The one play could be going Jalen Hurts, but then I cancel out my Christian McCaffrey. So I'm literally going all in on the Niners just in the hopes that they make it, that, that people don't have an Elijah Mitchell, that people may not be playing Debo. They could be this week, probably the good pickup for Stephon Diggs is either going to be Debo Samuel or AJ Brown. Yeah. I know one of the people in our league already had AJ Brown. Kyle, I think, has him, maybe Josh too, but I had to go Debo because I'm going all Niners. So again, I'm going Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Debo, Jamar, Travis Kelce, Evan McPherson for my kicker, and Niners defense. So
Yeah. I'm just replacing one player here, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. And so I thought it was.
you were talking Devontae.
Yep. So as a reminder, I've got Mahomes, I've got McCaffrey and McKinnon. A lot of to start things off there. I had Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce, Robbie Gould, and the Niners defense. All of them are carried through this week. Obviously, I mentioned last week or in last episode, I'm heavy on the Niners, and now I'm starting to question that a little bit. And regardless of if I think the game is a toss up, I don't want to be so exposed that I have no shot of coming back at all if they lose.
Right.
That being said, in a pool this size, you basically have to nail who's going to be in the Super Bowl early and just ride them and hope that you're right. That's the only time I've won one of these in the past. It was like I happened to get the two teams right, and I just loaded up on them. Yeah. And so in that regard, I guess I have to hope that the Chiefs and Niners make it, because I'll basically win. But in the event there's some sliver of hope, and maybe I get a big lead after this week because I got all these guys getting triple points, and all of a sudden I'm up, I do want to have some hedge in case the Niners lose and the Eagles are in there. I'd like to get double points next week. So I'm gonna plug an Eagle in here. Okay. And it's been like, hey, other people have AJ Brown, so I'll go Devontae Smith. Made sense to me from a strategy standpoint because I could be the only one getting double points for him next week if the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. But at the same time, I just keep thinking, I went back through some of the Niners' recent games in particular, like who's beating them from the receiving core, and it's those big physical receivers. I'm like, AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown is going to have himself a game. He's already chirping a little bit about, I want the ball more.
Right.
Not being a diva, but he's like, you brought me here.
I want the ball.
He did injure his hip a little bit in the divisional round, but
all right. So you're going AJ.
I don't know. I've got Devontae in my lineup right now.
I don't know.
I don't know if they're both like capable of getting 100 yards. They're both like season wide. Like they're pretty similar as far as like they both can get, and honestly, they can both do it in the same game. They can both go for 100. So that's not that bad. The Niners will give it up to one guy, but probably not two. And I gotta figure out if that
guy is Dallas Goedert. So you're screwed either way.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, it could be. It's probably going to be AJ, but then I'm thinking like, okay, then what's the next matchup? Okay, let's say they play the Chiefs or something. It's like, okay, who's going to take the? I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna go with Devontae and fly under the radar.
I think that's your smart pick because again, people are already playing AJ, and you'd be behind the 8 ball if they all make it. So
yeah, but I might need to carve into whatever they're getting too. That's also part of the strategy. That's true. The thing that really complicates this is I'm in another one of these, but it's not the same structure where you get multipliers each week. You just get points for the week that your guy plays.
Yeah.
And so there's no need to keep people longer than the rounds that they play.
True.
And so like in that one, I'm like, you get to shuffle your roster twice throughout the season, once this week and once again before the Super Bowl. But you can only change out so many positions. So like in that one, I'm like, okay, I got to play AJ because he's the right play, and I'm like psyching myself out. But
overanalyze, man. That's what happens.
That's what we do. That's what we do here.
All right, you're locking in Devontae. You heard it here first.
Locking in Devontae. I'm going
locking in Devontae. Kyle, you hear that? He's locking him in. Okay, awesome. So yeah, we'll see. Let's see. I'm all in on the Niners, so I really need some Brock Purdy magic. Let's go. All
I was gonna do is just keep it up. That's all.
Elijah Mitchell. Oh, I should have played Mitchell. Jakurshabervik, whatever his last name is.
Juszczyk? Did you take Kyle Juszczyk?
I should have instead of Elijah Mitchell.
I don't even know what he qualifies for positionally right now.
He'd be a running back, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got to get to some replacements trivia.
Replacements and trivia.
There it is. Let me get our little ticker here because that's important.
Yes. Very.
Boom. Got it. The Replacements is a good movie.
It was.
I enjoyed watching it. I watched it. I think I first saw it, I want to say high school, college age.
That's about right.
And watched it several times during that time frame, but have not seen it in a while since,
I've probably seen it twice, maybe 3 times.
I'm in the 6 or 7 range.
Damn.
I don't know. It would be like once a year kind of thing. I'd be like, yeah, let's watch that. I don't know.
Well, now I'm even more pissed that when we did our jersey extravaganza a few months ago that you didn't get the Shane Falco.
It was so plain. It was so bland.
It was
that one and Willie Beeman were both.
Yeah,
Willie Beeman was like a black jersey with his name on it. I'm like,
they didn't even have the shark on it.
I was
disappointed by that. Yeah. That's true. They were both plain, but
So anyway, there's some great actors in this movie and some good characters as
there's
well.
some big names in this movie.
Some big names in this movie.
Gene Hackman,
Yep,
Keanu,
and
John Favreau.
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 Yep. Orlando Jones.
That 7
Okay, so let's get some trivia for you. See how well
right.
you remember this movie. I took it easy on you, so I think
I hope so because I'm in trouble.
This first one I could give you multiple choice if you want it, but Shane Falco was a college quarterback. I'll give you a two-parter.
Okay.
In case you remember this, because I didn't know that they actually mentioned this. Do you remember what college he played for?
I actually do, and I hope the second. What's your follow-up? Because I do know the college.
Well, what do you mean? What's your follow-up? Answer the question.
You said there were two questions. All right. Well, he went to Ohio State.
Yes, he was a Buckeye. So, in what famous bowl game did Falco have his infamous meltdown?
Infamous. He got 3 concussions. Is that what they said happened? Which in our day and age would never fly. You get 1. How about 1? He got 3. It was the Sugar Bowl.
It was the Sugar Bowl. And I did see this outside of trivia. It was the 1996 Sugar Bowl. And the reason they used that one is because
Ohio State was in it.
No, the Sugar Bowl was played in late December in 95 and in January of 97. So there wasn't actually a 96 Sugar Bowl.
Oh,
there was a 96 season Sugar Bowl.
Right.
The game was bumped to January.
I see.
So
he's
that was
always
one of the reasons they did that.
Okay.
Okay, well done. How about even greater layup? What is the nickname of the Washington team in the movie? They are the Washington what?
The Washington Sentinels.
There you go. There you go. They are the Sentinels.
They are the Sentinels.
All right, 2 for 2. What actor played the deaf tight end Brian Murphy?
I don't know his name, but what I can tell you, he was also in The Office as Roy.
That was going to be the follow-up. What role did he play in The Office?
Yeah, I don't know his name.
His name is David Denman.
Okay.
Put some respect on his name.
I thought it was get the name out of his mouth.
Put the name in your mouth. David Denman.
David Denman.
Okay. Yeah, he is Roy from the warehouse in The Office.
Couldn't hear.
In fact, I think when I saw The Office, I was like, hey, that's the deaf tight end from the
replacement. That's how he'll be known.
All right. There are a couple of different songs that you could use here, but
rap. I knew you were going to ask this. Is it the one when they're in jail?
No. Although that, yes, we can do that one too.
No, I don't know.
Three songs. Okay. What popular song plays during cheerleader auditions?
Yeah, no.
I'll give you some multiple choice if you want.
Well,
great soundtrack in this movie, by the way.
It is a great soundtrack. Was the one in jail? I'm jumping to the one in jail. Was it I Will Survive?
Jail was I Will Survive. That's a Gloria Gaynor banger, all-timer.
Yes.
Commonly mistaken for Donna Summer.
Give me a multiple choice for the cheerleader tryouts.
Okay, for the cheerleaders, is it Bust a Move, Wild Thing, Baby Got Back?
Honestly, those could all fit. Man, I mean, because the cheerleaders they bring in are strippers, so
they are strippers. The ones they end up with. They did auditions though for average people, and they were
for average people.
They were awful.
All right, Baby Got Back, Wild
Bust
Thing.
a Move and Wild Thing.
I'm gonna go Bust a Move.
Bust a Move is correct.
Oh,
let's go. And then a scene I remember seeing several times when the cheerleaders distract the opposing team and end up getting all the penalties.
Is it Cherry Pie?
What song are they dancing to there? Do you remember that?
Was it Cherry Pie?
No. This was Bad Girls by Donna Summer. That was Donna Summer.
That was Donna Summer. Okay. So did I get a point for one of those?
I'll give you a point somewhere in there. You got a point.
All right.
All right. Last question. Jumbo eats large quantities of what, as they called it in the trivia, food stuff before each game.
Food stuff.
I was like, what's a food stuff?
Jumbo eats hard-boiled eggs.
He eats eggs, lots of eggs before each game. Yes.
And in their first huddle, he throws up.
He does.
And then that makes everyone else throw up. So.
Yep. It's a good movie. Nigel Gruff is a great character in that movie.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times I've used John Madden. John Madden is in the movie.
I was going to say, call back to Tuesday.
True.
And Summerall. They were both in it.
It was Al Michaels, actually, I think.
No, it was Summerall.
Okay. Maybe not. The trivia that I looked at said Al Michaels, but it would make more sense to be Pat Summerall. But one of the things he says that I started saying with my brother and my dad all the time when we're watching games, especially when it's cold out, here comes the kicker. Is like, is he smoking on the field?
Is he smoking? It's I just Googled it. It's Summerall, man.
It is Summerall. Good. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
Trivia things, you can never trust him.
Smoking on the
He's smoking on the field. No, he was out on the field, like threw his butt on the field.
Right before the kick. He's literally there. Just... John Madden and Summerall were great in that movie, by the way. Like they played it as if they were calling a real game, and I loved it.
They were fantastic.
They were great.
They were fantastic.
Because, something like the Water Boy, they had some ESPN personalities. You could tell they were kind of phoning it in. Summerall, man, like, no, this is a real game. We're going to bring our A game.
Yep. I didn't also realize that this was like extremely loosely based on the 1987 Washington Redskins, where they had scabs for like 4 games when there was like a lockout.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't like a true story at all, but it was like kind of like a paying homage to
them,
I guess.
Interesting. Okay,
pretty interesting.
So what I get 3.5 or I get 3.5 or 4?
I think you got like 4.5 or 5.
Oh, I definitely didn't get 5 because I didn't get
David Denman's name.
I got Roy.
You did get Roy. That was like a quarter point. You got.
I'll take
multiple
4
choice plus to move.
I'll take 4.
We'll give you half point. How about 4.25? Deal.
I like it. All right. Nice. See, and then you start talking about it, you remember more. So it's fun. I
know. I love that. I love looking up the trivia for stuff I haven't seen in a while too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh man. It's a great flick.
I thought you were gonna say, speaking since I am Orlando Jones, what in the opening scene when they're recruiting him or doing their, montage of him and he's a store clerk, what does he not catch in the air?
Oh, like, yeah, he's bobbling something at the store, isn't he?
What is it?
I don't remember. I want to say spam, but I don't remember.
A Twinkie.
A Twinkie.
He's like, it's like up in the air. He's like, I'm gonna catch it. Drops it and then steps on it. Like, Yes.
It's a good movie.
Great.
Entertaining. Lighthearted.
Lighthearted. All right.
Compelling and rich.
So, as we talked about on Tuesday, we have been getting murdered by your picks.
Dirty Dozen playoff picks, DDPP.
So I have taken the reins this week. Okay. I have taken over. And it's no more Dirty Dozen because this week it is time for Gelfand's Gaggle.
Gelfand's Gaggle.
All right. Although I kept the same number. I did 12. But in no way.
Gaggle is an undefined number.
And I don't know if you did, like, if you went on like the sports sites, like the sports betting sites and picked something there. This literally just came from a noggin doing some research.
Yeah, mine was a mix. Mine was like, if I had like an over-under in yardage, that was usually from DraftKings.
Sure.
But the other stuff was just out of my head.
Mine was just, I almost wanted to do some weird ones, like how many times are they going to say cool Joe? But then that would require me to like take tick marks every time the announcers would say it.
Oh, man, you don't want any part of that.
Yeah. So I went away from those.
Okay.
But all right. Here we go. And I'm going to write it here. And I'm not giving you would be nice and give me like, okay, if the over under on 5.5 receptions for Debo in the past 6 games, he's had 4, 5.
You're going to give me no information. And I also don't have a heads up on what these questions
are.
Nope.
I gave you no
I usually upload the outline for you to look at the day before. So
nope, not doing that either. Gaggle. That's not how the Gaggle works. That's not.
This is Gaggalicious.
Yep. All right. Question Gaggle number 1. Is that a thing? Okay, this is a pretty easy one. Who will have more completions, Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts? Completions. So this is the one I gave some information. So Brock Purdy's season high in completions was 25, and Jalen Hurts' season high was 29.
Yeah, these are both, they're both kind of lower numbers. I'm gonna stick with Hurts.
Sticking with Hurts. Okay.
Yeah. Like part of me thinks the narrative of like game script, and if the Eagles do end up winning, like the Niners are going to have to come back and the Eagles are going to salt it away. But I also think like they're going to know this is a battle. They're not just going to get conservative. I think they're going to have to keep pushing it.
Okay. I'm going with Brock Purdy just because I think the Eagles are going to really make an effort to try and shut down the run game and really keep McCaffrey in check. So he's going to have to throw it a little bit more. So
Yeah,
going Purdy.
not unfair. I mean, it's a good toss up.
All right. Who will have the first reception for the Eagles? Will it be AJ, Devontae, or the field? I wanted to add one more name, but I didn't because then I looked at the depth chart and season stats of reception. I was like, ugh, the field.
Wes Watkins, is that you want to add?
Right.
Well, Goddard would make sense here because I feel like
So I was thinking about adding Goddard, but I was like, oh, but then the field is garbage.
the field is garbage. Yeah, so Goddard is the field.
So
basically.
Goddard is the field.
So I'm you have to answer first.
Oh, that's right. I do have to answer first. I'm going with the field because I think it's going to be a Dallas Goddard.
Yeah, I really think it very well could be Goddard. However, I'm going to go with AJ because it's a stupid guess because the field is a much safer bet, but because of him wanting to get fed.
Okay, that's a rational reason.
Maybe you start the game off and just give the guy the ball.
Yeah, now you're done. You're happy.
I'm happy.
Okay. All right. Which Eagle will record the most rushing touchdowns? Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, or Kenneth Gainwell?
Okay.
Most rushing touchdowns.
Hurts, Sanders.
So no field.
Well,
It's these four.
These four. Well, I mean, I guess I'm going to go with Jalen because I feel most confident that he will score a rushing touchdown. Okay. Miles obviously very easily could, and he could have two even. So could Jalen. But in the event they don't score any other rushing touchdowns, I feel like Jalen is the most likely.
Okay. I too am going with Jalen Hurts.
All right.
I agree. All right. Now we're switching over to the Niners. I guess I have to do this one first. Over under George Kittle targets at 5.5. Targets, not receptions. And again, I'm not giving you any background information, but it hasn't been in game 1. He had 2. Game 2, he had 5. So there's that for you.
Okay.
Over under, I am gonna go with under.
Yeah, the history has me a little bit thrown, but I'm going to go with over.
You're going over. Okay.
Yeah. I think Purdy loves Kittle, and I think Debo's become a bigger part of the offense, as he should. But, again, I think you're going to have to throw everything at this Eagles defense to pull a win out here, and I think they're really going to have to rely on Kittle. Okay. I think you saw it with the Dallas game. Like, he got more involved in that game because they needed everybody, all hands on deck.
Which I agree, but then that's crazy when I looked at the final box score, he had 5.
Yeah.
5 targets. I was like, whoa, crazy. All right. Who will have the longest run for the San Francisco 49ers? CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Debo, or the field?
I'm going to go with CMC.
CMC.
He's been breaking them, dude. He just freaking rips them off. Debo could, of course, in a jet sweep or something. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Brandon Ayuk could actually get a jet sweep and take that as well.
There's a field.
He's probably the field. He's probably the only other person that you think about in that. Elijah Mitchell is a really good runner. I don't think he's nearly as explosive as CMC, so I'm going with McCaffrey.
Okay. I was hoping you were going to take Debo because I went with CMC.
Yeah.
All right.
Dashes, man. He's freaking good. I don't think he gets nearly – I mean, his name is very popular, but I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for being as good of a runner as he is. Just a pure runner, A
pure runner.
All the accolades are like receiver and 10 catches a game or whatever, but like the dude is a hell of a runner.
He's got really good vision. All right. Which duo will put up more total yards? Total yards. Debo and Ayuk or AJ and Devontae? So again, I say total yards because that includes rushing.
Hey, you're up first.
Oh, that's right. I'm going to go with Debo and Ayuk.
I'm going with Devontae and AJ.
Okay. All right. Switching games. Who will have more rushing yards? Patrick Mahomes, Joseph Burrow.
Just those two?
Just those two.
Oh, man. So Mahomes is hobbled, but he's more likely to run typically, right? I mean,
So I will give you on the year he had 358 to Joe Burrow's 274. But he's a little hobbled.
he is hobbled. Joe's a little hobbled too, honestly.
But as they always say at this point, who isn't hurting at this point?
I'm still gonna go with Mahomes.
Okay. I'm going with Cool Joe.
You can't control this kid. He's like
Mahomes.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
tell him like, hey, if you're gonna run, just like throw it away. It's not a big deal. We'll live to play another down.
I'm a
Like,
run.
I'm a run.
Okay, if you're gonna run, just slide. I'm gonna dive head first.
Yeah. I'm gonna go shoulder down. I don't know. He's gonna get in gamer mode and he's gonna forget everything he's learned, and it's just instinct. He's just gonna go, I think.
All right. First catch for the Chiefs. Kelsey, Juju, the field. Is it me first?
Yep.
I'm going with Kelsey.
I'll go with the field.
Field. You're hoping it's your boy McKinnon.
It probably won't be McKinnon because I don't think he'll be in early down, like first series, But it could be Pacheco. It could be Kadarius Toney, who I keep talking up. It could be Mecole Hardman. It could be Blake Bell.
Similarly,
That's the thing about this team is like it could be absolutely anybody. And
right.
I agree. It should be Kelsey. Absolutely. But I don't know.
Well, similarly, I was going to put a third name, and I was like, once again, it's a huge drop. Like Scantling. Anyway.
Yeah, it could be anybody.
Field. All right. Who will have more total yards, Panchero or McKinnon?
Okay, so we didn't see hardly any McKinnon last game, which surprised me and frustrated me because I've got him, of course, going in the lineups. So I'm going to stick with Pacheco in this one, even though he doesn't get much receiving work, and that could very easily be erased by one reception by McKinnon. I'm just going to say they're going to try and control the ball. I think they're going to try and control the ball, run the ball, and Pacheco's a good runner. He really is, and so that's my rationale.
Okay. I, too, am going with Panchero just because I love the name.
Just because you love the name.
I love the name. And it was odd just to see McKinnon really not have much last game. So,
yeah,
a little concerning. All right.
Ronald Jones as well.
Right. All right. What will be the greater number? Joe Burrow pass attempts or Hayden Hurst receiving yards?
That's a good one. Go ahead.
Oh, crap. I'm first. I'm going to go with Hayden Hurst receiving yards. You're about to look up some Hayden Hurst game logs, aren't you?
Well, I'm going to check out last game. I mean, I know he was pretty involved against the Bills. Yeah, 5 for 59 and a touchdown. So that's impressive. Yeah, I'm going to look at his game logs real quick here.
How dare you? So
this is a good toss-up, honestly.
Right? Because otherwise, like he hasn't had too many big games. I think that might have been a season high in a game. He was solid, but when you have those three other big name targets, you're not going to get that many looks. But he was a kind of a focal point against the Bills.
I'm going to go with Hurst as well. It seems like he's been more of a focal point in both of the playoff games. But before that, 14 and 12 yards in the 2 games before the playoffs. So,
all right.
That's a good one.
Will Joe Burrow score a touchdown?
No.
Kemper. No.
You think he's going to Philly special it? You think he's going to run it in? What do you think's going to happen?
Could be a goal line, but I too am going to go with no as well.
No. Good try.
All right, last one.
All right.
Over under 5.5 punts in the game. Total punts.
Oh man, you get to go first.
I'm going to go under. So, Bengals punted twice against the Bills.
Yeah.
Chiefs punted 4 times against the Jags, if that means anything to you.
Yeah, that's a good over under. I guess I'm going to go under as well. I think we're expecting to see an offensive explosion here, which means we're not going to get it. Which means it's going to be
it's going to
be a 21-17 game.
Yeah.
And in that case, it's definitely going to be over 5.5 punts. And these teams are going to be playing mind games and ball control and field position and all that. But I want this to be the game we want it to be. I want it to be that shootout, so I got to go under.
Okay.
It's more of a hopeful under.
A hopeful under. Well, there you have it. There are the Gaggle.
I like it, man. Well done.
The Gaggle.
Very well done with the Gaggle.
So we'll see. We'll see if we can do any better than your Dirty Dozen. If the Gaggle is more.
I'm curious to know if I do any better not having time to think about it.
Right?
Like
you just got to go
jumping on
it
it
off your gut
and not coming up with the questions myself.
True. We'll see.
I'm just real curious. Probably won't be any different. Probably still be 4 out of 12.
We're doing good. We're doing good. Let's just say I don't think I would have been ranked 700th in the.
Yeah, really. Wow. What happened?
Yikes. Can't retain my championship. But all right, man. Well, crazy championship weekend. Then we're going to have a week layoff. Lame. But is that where the Pro Bowl games happen? The games, whatever it is. Anyway, so I'm excited. Hopefully they live up to all the expectations. Again, we talked about it. These are the 4 best teams. These are the 4 ones you wanted to see. So we got them, and we hope they kind of live up to those expectations. So with all that being said, until next time, keep on folding.
Hold it.